All right, Ethereum USD, and then we'll do Ethereum Bitcoin. We'll kind of focus just on the weekly, the bigger picture. That's kind of what we're looking at. So let's keep it there, right? So our lows back in June of 2022, those have, we're just going to keep it factual based and not worry about what he said, she said, what the predictions are for $600 or whatever. I mean, I would bet it goes to 6,000 before 600, but that's just me. Um, let's tell the people that are voting for 600 that structurally Ethereum USD is in an uptrend. I mean, you can't argue with that, right? I mean, there's a low, there's a higher low, there's a higher low, there's a high, there's a higher high. What are we talking about 600, right? If we're going to get 600, we're going to at least have to take out 1150 first, right? So then we can start to panic. Maybe if we get to 1100, but no, think why would we go back down there, right? If we're going there, Bitcoin's going to 15K. Are you in that boat, right? If Ethereum crashes to $600, and it could, right? There's anybody that says definitively anything in crypto is bonkers, right? There's a greater than 0% chance of anything happening in crypto. But if Ethereum goes to 600, that means Bitcoin is, sub 15K, right? Likely. We're in a second back-to-back bear markets, and it's likely going to be years before we see any kind of all-time highs. Years. Nothing coming for 2024, 2025. Why would you want to be in that boat? Why would anybody think we're going to that boat? Could a black swan event do it? Yeah, sure. I think that's about all it's going to be, right? It's going to have to be some kind of cataclysmic world global event, and that could absolutely happen these times. But I think it's going to take something like that for Ethereum to, crumble, Bitcoin to crumble. The fact that everyone let's just say the stock market's going to crash for the next 78 years, and sometime we're going to be right? So I feel like a lot of people are in that boat, but just look at the facts in the chart. Ethereum USD is in an uptrend since July of 2022. There's the facts, okay? Now, we are flirting with, being on the bear side of the fence, but more or less the odds are sideways. Look at the 200 week, right? It's been going sideways for 18 months now. That's where we're at. That's the odds. And, if you had to nail me down and say, well, what's the real trend? What do you think? Well, we're sideways, right? We're in a rectangle consolidation for 16, 18 months now. There's your two zones, and you say, well, why didn't you paint the other one? I think that was a deviation, kind of a fake out there, right? So, yeah, you could include that, and just to make the zones kind of nice and even here. So from 2,000 to 1,200, that's a big-ass zone, but, I mean, if you zoom out enough, right, it doesn't look that big anymore, right? So zoomed out to Ethereum's good old heydays of $10. Think about that. Way back over here in 2017, you could have bought Ethereum for $10. And then fast forward, 6 years now? And people are arguing and debating as Ethereum's at 1,600, they're worried, right? So Ethereum looks like it just generally pulls the stock market and trends up over time, right? Ethereum USD, right, zoomed out, looking rather good. Okay, so we're still on the 200 week. Facts are the facts. We're waiting for a breakout above 2,000 or a break below the previous low. I mean, what else can you do? Even getting multiple closes right at the 200 week or even under the 200 week doesn't seem to phase it, right? It just seems to bounce right back or just continuously hug that 200 week. So I think Bitcoin's going to have to go back to even sub 20K for Ethereum to kind of retest these waters. Could that happen? Yep, maybe, but that still would be an anomaly for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has never closed back under that median weekly Gaussian channel ever, and that's at 24K. So calling for $600 Ethereum would be something that, it would be absolutely one-off, right? There's no rhyme or reason that we would go down there, barring some kind of global cataclysmic event. Then all bets are off, right? Bitcoin could go to $1. I don't know, right? The stock market could crash, right? If we start nuking people, who cares about money, right? When people are feeling for their lives, the the stock market's probably in trouble. All right, so barring that, hopefully coming across here rather passionately, because just calling for $600, and I've seen it, right? I've seen, Bitcoin, people calling for 9K Bitcoin with nothing substantial, factual to back it up with, right? So I'm open-minded as anybody you're going to come across, as long as you provide evidence of what you're talking about. So calling for $600 Ethereum, great. But that also entails Bitcoin crashing, right? It's not Bitcoin staying at 25K and Ethereum crashing to 600, right? That's Ethereum going to 600 would also entail Bitcoin crashing to levels never seen. And, the anomaly of one-off, right? It's not likely in my book, right? If anyone wants to take a bet, I would take the bet. That's not going to happen, right? I think I think we're 51% or greater odds of Bitcoin and Ethereum not crashing down to abysmal levels, right? Yeah, so that's that. Okay, now let's go look at Ethereum, Bitcoin, right? Because we always want to compare your coins to Bitcoin, and why not the top two coins, right? So let's go look at that. Right now let's zoom out again, right? Because we've had these lines drawn for a hell of a long time too, right? I think we've talked about this kind of all 2023. We've had these here, right? If you didn't watch any of those other videos and it doesn't sound familiar, you might be able to still find them, or I can find them for you if you want to see them. But we're looking at Ethereum here, Bitcoin, right? We're still okay, in an uptrend against Bitcoin for basically all of eternity, rising. I mean, probably the biggest rising wedge in crypto. We're looking at just a 6-year rising wedge. So if Ethereum has a case to, overtake Bitcoin as the #1 market cap, right? You show them this chart and you'd be like, well, if you didn't think so, maybe now, if we do another one of these, right? If Ethereum can break out of this for a 6-year term, right? Maybe we got something to argue. Okay, so now let's get down to it, right? Look at right here. What line are we visiting? The 200 week. What line are we visiting? The 200 week, right? So it's time to pay attention, but like Bitcoin, tagged it for like 6 weeks in a row, right? Bitcoin hit that 200 week 6 weeks in a row and hold it, and then did one of these little moves, right? So it's okay. We're flirting with it, but it's certainly time to pay attention to ETH BTC ratio. I know even some people I respect, Benjamin Cowan, thinks we're going to come down significantly. I think he's even calling for something down in here for this ratio. But, again, we're going to know that well ahead of time if that odds are improving for that. How will we know? The 200 week, right? If we're closing substantially below this week over week, we need at least 2 candles closing under here, in my opinion. And just based on any TA ever, you should be looking for double confirmation with back-to-back weekly candles closing under the 200 week before you get, overly concerned, right? So that's what we're looking at. Could we get one this week? Of course, right? We still have 3 days, 6 hours. This would be, our more, I would argue, the most bearish candle we've seen since 2021 out of Ethereum this week, if we close under the 200 week, right? How many candles have you seen close under the 200 week, right? But that's not that off the wall, right? Bitcoin's dominance is over 50% still, right? Yeah, 50 points, almost 51%, right? And this, if let me back up a little bit. So even if Bitcoin and Ethereum go up in value, this ratio could still fall down here, right? We're looking at, initial support. Initial support is here, right? This is step 1 in the ladder, the 200 week. Step 2 would be this guy, right? Which we've drawn. And step 3 is this like kind of 6-year trend line to the upside. So, 5,300 Satoshis or something like that, which we hit back in June of 2022, the bear market lows. Could we hit that again and still maintain this price? Yes, right? We could be at 2,000 Ethereum and we could hit this. How could that be possible? Bitcoin's going on an absolute monster tear to the upside. That happened also in rallies in 2019, 2021, when Bitcoin leads the way, right? Altcoins tend to lose value even more, although they're getting dragged up in fiat value-wise. Their value against Bitcoin will still continue to fall, right? So that's all definitely on the table for a lot of altcoins, right? If Bitcoin wants to play one of these, I'm still king, look at my shiny new crown, right? I'm back. Altcoins are going to take a massive hit. Ethereum's included in that. And we could definitely see kind of maybe a potential double bottom or something around 5,300 for Ethereum BTC. So that's kind of my wrap up for the next. That's really probably for the next 6 months, I would say, right? Looking at, here's January, right? Here's kind of the intersection of the end of the year and the new year, right here. So that's amazingly of a coincidence as that is. We'll see. Ethereum historically kind of likes to be relatively weak against fiat and Bitcoin the last quarter of the year. Guess where we are, right? So I wouldn't surprise me if we do something like that, and then ETH climbs back up, right? Something like that. But the $600 valuation against fiat, barring a black swan event, I don't buy it.